Don't forget to leave a comment below this video. Let me know how you liked it, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Hello, my name is Cindy, and thank you for coming to this video. I just tried something new. I just learned how to add a little commercial at the beginning of my videos. So thank you for coming. And today I have a special guest, my friend Kathy Kelly, and I met her online. She's a fellow teacher friend, and I'm bringing her along so that she can share with you what she does teaching online, and maybe it would inspire you to, check out the companies that she's working for and just have some fun talking to another teacher. So, hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Now, I've talked to you a lot behind the scenes, but I don't know if we've ever chatted it's not really in person, but kind of in person.
The only time I did go to your knitting class a few times when you did a VIP Kid meetup.
That's right. Yeah, VIP Kid was fun because we actually had meetups where we could kind of get together in a group. That's right. You had some awesome knitting stuff, and you were knitting for a sweater for one of your grandkids, I think, right?
Yep. Baby sweaters. So
very cool. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am going to be 49 in September. So
wow.
I live
You're
in
brave to share your age. I don't usually do that. I did not put it on record. I did not ask your age. You volunteered.
So that's
you do not look 49.
Oh, thank you. So I've been around for a while and have been teaching a long time, but I have a degree in elementary education from Liberty University. I only say that also to say because Jason just mentioned he got his PhD from there. But, so cool. Yeah, so that's where I have my bachelor's degree from. So right out of college, my husband and I got married, but I did not start teaching right away because he is a pastor. And so he became the assistant pastor at the church where we kind of grew up. So we were there for 7.5 years. We had kids right away, 3 kids, one right after another. I was working as like an administrative assistant at the church at the time as like kind of on a volunteer basis. And then pretty much I was staying at home. I had 3 little babies. I was a stay-at-home mom and I wasn't doing any teaching except for, Sunday school and things like that. I did do some freelance writing during that time and had, I don't know, maybe 200-ish articles published in different Christian magazines. So that was kind of a nice little side income at the time. But then we moved to New York. So we were from Rhode Island, and then we moved to New York. And my husband became a pastor of a church in a very rural area, which we just finished 20 years here. So we live in this little rural neighborhood. Most of our neighbors are Amish, but our church has a school. And so at the time when we moved here, the school needed like a lot of help. And so our youngest son at the time was only 1, but when we moved here in May, and that fall, I actually became the kindergarten teacher, which was only a half day. So I taught part-time teaching kindergarten in the mornings till noon. My husband stayed home with our baby, really, he was only 1. And I was at school with our son who was in kindergarten. And he was in 1st grade. And then my daughter was a preschooler. So I just took her into kindergarten with me and kind of taught as a preschool. And then, so all through the years, all through my children, their school years, I taught at our school in some capacity. Some years it was full-time. Some years it was part-time. Some years I was volunteering. It was kind of by the year what the school needed. But then when my youngest son was a senior in high school, I kind of realized, hey, my children are going to be out of school. Our school is doing great now, very stable. We have very stable staff. I don't have to do this anymore. So it was great to be a part of my children's education. I taught my own children to read. I was their teacher many years, different ones at different times and different. So my husband and I really began thinking about, what what would you like to do? What would be better for our family? What would be better for the church ministry? And so I stopped teaching at our school full time and I applied to VIP Kid. And so that's how that all started. So I started in January of 2020, right before the pandemic. I
Wow.
started at VIP Kids. So it was so great the way that worked out. You know, I had this great at-home job when it was like so terrible everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
and that's how that all started.
Oh, that's cool. So you're somewhat new to online teaching.
Yes, only since
Yeah,
2020.
cool. Okay. Well, you are natural because I know you've taught my kids on
Oh, thank
Outschool,
you.
my grandkids, and they loved your classes.
Oh,
So
thanks so much.
yeah. And I've watched your videos like on Outschool, they have like a welcome video and that kind of thing. So you definitely have, you know, just worked right into it real
Oh, thanks so
nicely.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings us to, so you worked for VIP Kid for a while and
Yes.
then
So I loved working for VIP Kid. And actually, you know, I think the pandemic was was a terrible thing, but it did benefit obviously online teachers. So I really started at a time when it just was taking off. So I never had the problem that so many VIP Kid teachers had, where they weren't getting bookings. Like it took me maybe a month to get like a fairly solid, you know, I'm not going to say fully booked schedule, but I always had plenty of classes. And
Mhm.
so I had regular students. And so I taught that first year, 2020, and then 2021 in the spring. And I was teaching about 20 hours a week. So about 40 classes a week, pretty
Mhm.
solidly Monday through Saturday. I never taught on Sundays. And I always took time off too. Like I know lots of people would say, you know, oh, I'm so scared to take time off. We do a lot of things. Like we travel to visit our parents who live in different states. We go on family vacations. We do different things. And I always would take like weeks off at a time and never had a problem getting students back. But then in 2021, in the spring, I started hearing all this, pss, 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 oh, you know, the Chinese market's going to crash. And so I was hearing everybody talking about Outschool. Oh, and I did work for GoGo Kid too. I never really taught that much for them. I I kept a few slots open. They invited me to teach for this experimental program that was kind of like confidential at the time. I don't think it is now, but anyway, it was just this app-based program they were doing. And I taught a few classes for that too. But I never even opened a lot of slots because I was so fully booked at VIP Kid. But that was like my spare, you know, back
Yeah,
pocket
yeah, yeah.
company. So then I was thinking, well, I really should do something, you know, and get some insurance here in case China crashes. So I applied for Outschool in May of 2021 and was hired and fully brought on in June, but then never did anything with it. So because I was fully, you know, busy with VIP Kid, very intimidated about the thought of Outschool, but I was just like, well, you know, if everything falls apart, I've got this, you know, I can do this thing. And
Right.
and then at the time too, my daughter was pregnant. She was and still is living with us. So I went to a short notice schedule only at VIP Kid because I was going to be going, you know, with her to
Oh,
her birth. And I mean, I raked in the bucks then because I was getting trials like
wow.
every, you know, and I was getting conversions. So it was this great thing all through June and July. And then all of a sudden, you know, everything went crashing down. So no more trials. I started teaching just regular classes. And I was still fully booked up until that last day in October. Like
Wow.
it went all the way to then. And then I
Wow.
had I had one student from Hong Kong and I continued teaching him. I got hired at like a little startup that was like a Chinese company, but that was based in the US. And I kind of tried that for a little while. I brought a few of my VIP Kid students over to that platform, but it just wasn't working out. I wasn't getting booked. So I decided, okay, I'm going to try Outschool. And so I basically, I picked 3 days and I thought, okay, I'm going to work these 3 days. I don't remember what they were, but I'm going to work a full day. Like instead of just working mornings, I'm going to work, you know, 7 to 3 or 9 to 5, whatever works. So I started in November of 2021 and I made a couple classes, put them up, was not getting any enrollments. So I kind of did what they recommend you do, commit that time while you're not getting any enrollments to working. So I was creating classes. I took the class that I would recommend that anybody take, that Outschool Teacher Village has created. I think it's like Kelly Tagg and Paige and Marion and Brooke. So I don't know if you took that class. It was really excellent. That helped me so much to like get my thumbnails looking good and to know how to use search words. And so I'm doing all of this. I'm working full days trying to get enrollments and really not being successful. And when I first started at Outschool, they saw that I was a Vipkid teacher, and they sent me this specific email, which was like a form email that I think they sent to pretty much everybody that was coming from the ESL market. And it basically said, look, we're not an ESL company. Right. We are a North American company primarily. These are small group classes. We are not looking for you to come and teach ESL classes. So I go into Outschool thinking, okay, new ESL, that's not what they want. So I'm trying to put up all these like reading and math and science, because that's what I did. I primarily taught kindergarten and early elementary. And so I'm looking at all of these other classes on Outschool, and I'm like, hey, there are some people teaching ESL on Outschool. So I was successful doing this at Vipkid. I'm just going to try it. So I started putting up ESL classes, and lo and behold, what books? ESL classes.
Wow.
And
so are you doing those one-on-one or group?
Yes. Yeah. I started with a one-time group class, and that never took off the ground.
Okay.
And so I started offering one-on-one, just tutoring classes. And lo and behold, I get an email from Outschool, and they say, we're going to start marketing ESL classes in China. I mean, not China, in South Korea and Japan.
Yeah, and so every country.
And so I think they realized, hey, like we're discouraging people from teaching ESL, but we're missing out on like this cash cow. Like, why would we discourage people? Exactly. So I think they changed the administration or whoever from Outschool kind of changed their tune about that and actually started encouraging it. Yeah.
So how's the pay on that? Is that better than Vipkid or same?
It's way better because you choose your own, So what I did was I started at $15 a class. That was back in January. And so my first students, they kind of came in at that introductory rate, which was great because they gave me good reviews. So I start with a one-time class, and I funnel that one-time class into an ongoing class. And my one-time ESL class, I think it has 48 5-star reviews.
Wow.
So, and you know how that pops up on the search engine? That's like a little sticker. That's awesome. But over time, so I have been incrementally raising my rate. Every couple months I raise it a few dollars. So I'm up to charging $23 a class right now, which with the 30% is $16.10 that I take home. Right. So before taxes, that's $32.20, right?
That's awesome.
And I'm planning to I think I'm going to cap out at 30, but I'm going to do it a lot more slowly. Like I've been leaping up kind of quickly, like $3 at a time. So I probably will leap up to 25 on August 1st. That's my plan as the school year starting, and then see how things go. And maybe increase it $1 at a time, like every 4 or 5 months or so until I hit 30. And that won't be my take home, but that will be like, the base rate before they take out their 30%.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how many classes do you do per day? Like what are your hours?
I started off when I was trying to gain a following. I started off teaching at 4:30 in the morning Eastern time. And I would end at my last class would be at 8. So I'd go to 8:30. But that was not very sustainable for me. So I'm doing this Monday through Friday. I no longer work on weekends at all.
So it's kind of like Vipkid hours.
They are.
Yeah.
So the thing that's difficult is I have a very even mix of students from Japan, South Korea, and China, Hong Kong and China. But the people in South Korea and Japan, they're 1 more hour ahead from us. So right now, because we don't have the time change, they're 13 hours ahead.
Right.
In November, they're going to be 14 hours ahead.
Oh.
So if someone wanted to teach ESL, and they're really targeting right now those countries, Taiwan, they're also reaching out to Taiwan a lot right now too. But you're going to get a lot of students from South Korea and Japan. And so if it's a person who's like able to work like the 3:30 a.m., 4 8, those times are hot for those countries.
Wow.
I'm not doing that anymore because I don't need to.
Yeah.
So now I'm teaching, I
Great.
start at 5:30 and go till 9.
That's great. That is
Yeah.
excellent.
Yep.
So, for Outschool now you have to make your own curriculum. So how have you done that? I mean, it sounds like you're pretty good at doing that kind of thing.
So at the beginning, it was very difficult, and I actually panicked a little. My Hong Kong student from Vipkid actually was going to come over to Outschool at the very beginning, like right in November, and they were all ready to do it. And I told them no. I was like, you know what, I cannot do this. It's too much. So I took some time in November and December and kind of figured out how to make lessons. I use PowerPoint. So I was making my own lessons, but it is so time consuming. It was taking me like hours to make one lesson. I've gotten it down to where it takes me about 1 hour to make a new lesson.
Wow.
But I teach a lot of students. So say in one, coming week, I might need to make 5 or 6 new lessons.
Wow.
And so I was constantly living with this like low level stress.
Yeah.
The back of my mind, like every spare minute.
The thing about Vipkid is you go on, you do your class, you're done. You didn't have a homework. But now you're giving yourself homework.
So Online Teacher Dude did several really good videos where he talked about curriculum. And so when Vipkid ended in November of 20, well, it didn't end, but when they lost a lot of students in 2021, all of these places that were making this online ESL curriculum, they were kind of just starting. And it was, you didn't have a lot of choices. You didn't necessarily have a lot to pick from. But now they've had, quite a few months. They've had 6 months or so, more than that. So the options are much better, I think, than they were, because I've been looking at all this curriculum over time. And so I knew I needed to purchase a curriculum, and I knew that I needed to do it before the new school year started this fall, because I knew I was not going to be spending all this time making lessons.
Yeah.
So I finally did subscribe to a curriculum a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And so I don't do any more prep.
So you have a curriculum, and then you can kind of plug your student in wherever on that like kind of timeline type of thing.
Yes.
We have plenty of stuff. Okay.
So, now I will say the curriculum I'm using is called Chit Chat to Fluency. It's not perfect. It has problems. But the creator will tell you that. And in fact, I think Online Teacher Dude even interviewed him. I can't find it. I was looking for it, but it's pretty solid in the lower levels. As you start to get to like what would be comparable to like Vipkid level 4 and higher, you need to find something else, or you need to supplement. He has a little bit on there, and I know they're creating new lessons every week. So it's in development. I feel like.
How does that work? You pay one price and you get everything?
So you can subscribe. This particular curriculum, you can subscribe, like say, only to their level 1. And I think it's like $6.99 a month to do like only one level. I chose to do what they call premium, which is $13.99 a month. And I get everything. So I get all the levels. He has some supplementary classes, like some grammar, some classes that I would compare to, like, when Vipkid did that really new speaking class toward the end, right before it all ended, they had that really cool speaking class. He has quite a few lessons like that I'm actually planning to use with one of my highest level students. That's like a level 5 comparably. And I think those classes will be okay for that level.
So when you advertise your classes, do you just say, tutoring, one-on-one tutoring? How do you advertise the curriculum, or you just advertise yourself?
I just advertise myself because I don't know if I ever will. I may. I see some other people, like Crystal Clear English is another one. And I see some people that are using that. They're like saying out there, I'm using this curriculum. And it might be a draw to parents to see that, but I'm not fully there. Like, I'm kind of transferring over with a hodgepodge of like the lessons I created, some free stuff I found online. And so I'm not like fully committed. So, I don't know if I'm going to ever do that, but maybe.
Well, I know like for that age, or what ages are you doing actually? Mostly.
So I have ages 3 and have had all the way up to age 18.
Oh,
And I'm advertising that because I did that at Vipkid too. And
yeah,
I was really fine with every age. What
yeah,
I'm best at is probably that level 2 Vipkid, comparable age.
yeah. So do
Um,
you do singing and stuff for the little kids? Oh
mhm,
yeah, good
lots
for
of
you.
singing. Yes, in fact, my family, um, they tease me. They're like, "Oh yes, mom, we hear you sing talking in there." Because with the little ones, sometimes if you sing the sentences with them, they get them so much faster. So
Yeah,
lots of
it
sing
makes it
talking.
fun. It makes them want to come back and
Yeah, and
yeah.
I use a lot of puppets and do a
Oh,
lot of
cool.
with the little ones. And I stand too. I'm sitting right now. I have an electric standing sitting desk. I stand for every class. So with the little ones, I do crazy things.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I love it. So you're working for Outschool, and I do have your link below the video if
great. Yeah.
anybody wants to check out your Outschool. Now, are you just strictly doing ESL now on Outschool?
Well, no, my schedule just changed again. So in 2 weeks, I'm only going to be working 4 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I have a science class that actually was starting to take off and become popular, but I had to change my schedule because of some family things that my daughter-in-law had gotten injured. So I was helping to take care of her kids, but she's better now mostly. And so I'm going to try to bring this science class back. It's like a preschool to first grade-ish um, class that touches on a lot of the like National Science Foundation objectives for that age, but using Play-Doh or clay to make a project.
Cool.
And I also just created 2 flex classes based off of that as well.
Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
I'm hoping to bring back that in-person class, maybe like the first, second, third week of August.
Very
My
cool.
flex classes are kind of right now.
No,
So
I think people create them, but it takes a while for them to get
yeah,
attention and that. I've been wanting to do one on knitting, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of work if you don't do, if nothing comes of it. But
I hate making videos. Like I hate it. So it's
yeah,
been,
I
yeah.
your thing froze. I don't know if it was my computer or yours.
Okay.
Did you just say?
Is it still frozen?
It's good now, but I
Okay.
didn't get your comment.
Oh, I just said I hate making videos. So
Oh,
making flex classes is like beyond torturous for
Georgia.
me. And I still have 2 weeks of videos left to make for my second flex class. So I'm just kind of
Wow.
dying inside.
Yeah, I've just taken off. I don't really have anything on Outschool right now. July is just kind of a
Okay.
rest time month for me,
Good
but I'm
for
just
you.
really interested in what everyone's doing, and so I'm trying to get more information on my channel. So that's why I wanted to interview more teachers. And so that's Outschool, but you mentioned that you're also working for Allschool. What's that one about?
So I applied and I'm hired at Allschool. And I do have a couple of classes approved. And the reason why I did that is because I live in New York.
Ooh.
And so Vipkid broke up with me because
Yeah.
I live in New York. I'm so mad at them for breaking up with me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with breaking up with them. I'm not fine with them breaking up with
Have
me.
you always been in New York? I don't think I realized you lived in New York.
No, I've lived here for 20 years, but I'm originally from Rhode Island.
Okay. Okay.
So
So whereabouts in New York?
so I live
You
about
don't mind me asking.
45 miles west of Albany. But Cindy, I did stalk you a long time ago. I looked up your church where your husband is the
Yeah.
pastor. We don't live that far away from each other, like three and a
Yeah.
half, 4 hours.
Me.
Some not too far. But so I live in a very rural area right outside of Albany.
Okay. I've been to Albany when my school, I went to a Christian school. The teacher, the president of my school was really good friends with one of the pastors in Albany, New York. So we
Yep.
went there a few times.
Yeah.
So as a school, and yeah, so that is cool. But I don't think they were in a rural area. They were in a more of a,
Yeah.
metropolitan.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
So I do have a concern that it's possible that, the United, because Outschool is a United States-based company. You know, if they're going to start being concerned about, my state only has pending legislation, I think. I still need to contact my representative about this. So California passed legislation that like really limits what
Mhm.
independent contractors can do.
Yeah.
And I really don't fully understand it. And I really need to educate myself better. But so in New York, the legislation is pending. And so Vipkid, which I was kind of keeping as a backup, they never invited me to the global platform. And they finally just sent me this letter and said, you know, we're not renewing any more contracts. So my contract at Vipkid ends this month, July 31st. It's done. So
Mhm.
I just figured, you know, I need to get another company. I need to get a backup. And I really would like to have a couple of backups, and I just have no time ever to do anything. So, but anyway, so I applied at Allschool, and I am hired. I have a couple of classes up. And because we were going to do this video, I actually threw a couple of classes on my schedule just for fun. So I just put up a one-time ESL class on Fridays at 8:30. Nothing is booked. And I just threw it up there a couple days ago.
Okay, so is Allschool similar to Outschool where you make your own classes?
Yes. So it kind of appears that the
Mhm.
person who created Allschool kind of said, hey, I can make a company that's very similar to Outschool, kind of like GoGo Kid kind of
Yeah, yeah,
copied Vipkid.
yeah.
It kind of appears it's really very similar.
Yeah.
It's just based out of, I think, Singapore.
Okay.
And so they're trying to attract Asian students, but to take English speaking small group classes. So it's not an ESL company. It's really a company that is created the same way that Outschool was created. And the teachers that I see on Facebook groups, they they are teaching the same classes. A lot of Outschool teachers teach on Allschool. They're teaching the same classes they're teaching on Outschool. They're just teaching them early in the morning because this company is primarily reaching students for Asian time zones.
Okay.
So
Oh,
say you worked on Outschool, but you wanted a little extra morning time, or even if you didn't work on Outschool and you wanted that morning time. But Allschool doesn't have a lot of students right now. And you know, it's hard to tell how things are going just based on Facebook groups because the people on the Facebook groups that post are the ones that are having problems. Usually, you know what I mean? So like
right.
people are saying, oh, I'm not getting any classes booked, but it's hard to know how
Yeah,
that is
they could
across the
be
board.
yeah, and they could be like, the kind of people. Some people say, they want to work 40 hours a week. They're only working 25. So they say,
Right.
I'm not getting any classes, but
Right.
they're really working 24. So it's
Right.
all relative to what your situation is.
Right. So I don't know how the bookings are. I just know that it is a little smaller. So you're not probably going to have a boom of classes if you start on Outschool, I mean, on Allschool, but it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay. So have you heard of the new company that is the Christian one? It's Road to Success Learning Center.
I did, and I watched your video, and I watched Kelly Tagg's video, and I know that she has a lot of resumes sitting on her desk right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, well, you know, I'm
Maybe,
probably not going to add my name to that pile
yeah.
right now.
She's probably in the market more for students right now than teachers.
Yeah, that's the kind of the vibe I got, and I'm so busy. So it's, you know, I have it. I wrote it in my little notepad. I keep a little list of
Yeah.
potentials in my iPhone, but it's on my radar. But I'm not pursuing it right now. Are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not really pursuing major. I'm looking at opportunities that are interesting.
Okay.
But I'm not like looking to work full time, like because I'm doing in-person school and I have kids, so I can't really book myself
Right.
too much right now. But I did get a tower garden.
I
Tower
saw that.
garden is sort of, I really did it to get to have a food source during the winter because you can
Yep.
bring it inside and you can grow your own
Okay. Yeah.
greens
Yeah.
and things like that. But I didn't realize it's also a marketing company type of thing. So you can you know, it kind of like Pampered Chef or something.
Oh,
If you
you
get
can
a
sell the products.
one, you can, kind of have a income a little bit.
Yep.
So I thought if that works out, I might go with that. The other thing is it brings me into this really cool community of happy people.
Yes.
That was, I was really missing that with Vipkid,
Yep.
all the teachers just connecting. So I've gotten into a community of people that are, growing food and stuff,
And
which
that
I've
sounds like
kind of
fun.
been doing because Danny from Vipkid, teacher Danny, and Evelyn, she started a garden, and I really have been new to gardening within the last few years. So I've been doing outside gardening, but then I was like, wow, you can grow stuff inside. And I was kind of looking at getting grow lights anyway. In this thing, you bring it inside, and it has glow lights, grow lights on it,
Yep.
so you can grow stuff all winter as well. So that's kind of like a side thing. It doesn't take a lot of time. That's kind of
Right.
the things that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And I'm also working for a volunteer at a online group called This Way Network. I don't know if you'd heard about that one.
I don't think so.
So I don't know if you ever watch YouTube, but it's a group of people. It's called This Way Network on YouTube, and they have different types of shows. They have a Bible reading show. They have like interviews where they kind of interview current events, and it's on a Christian perspective.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool. So I'm kind of connecting with them kind of as a volunteer.
Great.
I thought of you when you said that you do writing. You like to write. They have a newsletter.
Yep.
And it's at thiswaynetwork.com. And then you can go sign up for their newsletter. And they're also looking for people that might want to write stuff for it. I wrote a little blurb last month about the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court ruling.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be talking a little bit about education options in America that we have right now, and kind of bringing in the online community as far as, I was thinking of this new Christian company for people to use as homeschool families, or like us, jobs that you can do online for teaching and things like that.
Yeah.
So the things that I'm working on.
I am unfortunately booked at like 99%.
Yeah.
So I'm working on my master's degree, and I do a lot of babysitting and stuff. So for my grandkids. So yeah, it's like I teach in the mornings, and then I need to slow down. Like my day is it's really not healthy to function at 99% where you have like no wiggle room. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And I need to change that, but
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I feel a little weird right now for July. I'm kind of open, and I think, what do I want to do? Like I'm doing a lot of trying to do some cleaning and things that just kind of don't get done when you're
things I never do. Yeah.
working.
Yeah. So in fact, I'm going to have to run really soon here because my next activity for the day is it's my turn to clean the church this week. So that's what I have to do soon.
Good for you. Yeah. Still cleaning the church.
We have a rotation. So, all the members, it rotates every 6 weeks or so.
Yeah. Well, where are you getting your master's from? From Liberty or?
No, I am getting a master's in biblical counseling from Mid-America Baptist Theological Seminary in Cordova, Tennessee. It's like right outside of Memphis.
Wow.
So online, but yeah.
Good for you. Wow. That's amazing.
It's fun. It's just a lot of work. I have 8 classes left. So I'm taking 2 classes per semester. So I have 2 full years left, 4 semesters left.
Okay.
So.
Wow. That's excellent. Yeah, we need lots of counselors.
It is a big emphasis here.
I made a call for myself of like, I need some help with this. And especially, I never really liked the idea of, counseling. I always thought it was like a crutch for people. But I see the value of it now because you can talk to someone outside of like when you talk to a friend and they know all the people and it just kind of makes a big mess. But when
sometimes, someone else is willing to say hard things you need to hear.
Exactly.
That, impartial person or whatever, but
and they can be objective. They can say what you need to hear. Or sometimes people, are hard on themselves. I
True.
think,
Yeah.
I'm kind of hard on myself. And one thing I've tried to do is kind of like let up a little bit and stop taking it all on me and give other people their due responsibility,
Yep.
whatever the situation is.
Right.
So that's important too, to just for, different people handle things different ways. So I think that's great. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming,
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
sharing all of your news. And I do have below this video, I do have your links.
Great.
And I think I'll put up the link for the This Way Network at the bottom here too, so that if anybody wants to check that out. It's kind of, I don't really watch the mainstream news, and sometimes if I hear something going on, I'll check into it. But I've kind of stopped being all about the news because it
Yep.
can be very stressful, and you can't really fix anything by watching the news. But it's always nice to hear somebody discuss the current events with a
Right.
Christian perspective. So that's
Yeah.
what I think about it.
Great.
So, all right. Well, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
I will see you around. Thank you for
Okay. Yeah.
this video. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking to, I know Rebecca, I'm going to talk to her, and I'm looking for other teacher friends. If anybody's watching this video and they'd like to chat with me tomorrow, it's kind of an open chat. So you can message me on Facebook, or you can put a message below this video that you want to join. I can have up to 4 people. So there'll be 2. Evelyn was going to, but she can't now. So I have 2 open spots for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much for coming, and
Great.
I
Thanks.
will see you around. Thank
All
you.
right. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.